Hello everyone. I've got an example for you of a part or a fragment. So in IFS, it would be considered a part. It could be a fragment or it could just be a construct. Anywho, a part, I'll use that word for description. Okay, so this is something I just found in myself and just experienced. I wanted to share it because I feel like examples are just so helpful for us connecting to ourselves and also seeing like the details and the effect. So, okay, so I'll give a couple, there's been a few different experiences recently where I felt this part, and it happens when I'm in a new situation, a new moment, a new situation that I've never been in before. And it can be small, like a subtle, of like if a new social interaction of the circumstances are just unique enough that I've never experienced it before. Actually, I think they've all been social interactions, yeah. And this part freezes, basically, and it gets really, really sullen and really heavy. Oh, it gets so heavy and like kind of dejected. Anywho, so, and then I end up being like not doing anything. I end up not able to like take the action that would have helped the situation, that would have resolved the situation. I just end up not being able to do it and kind of just waiting for it to end, which doesn't feel good. So I was very aware, noticed this, it was very pronounced of like, wow, why am I, oh, my cat might join us. Why am I in a situation where like I am stuck, I don't feel good about how it's going, and I can't resolve it or like end it or fix it, and successfully, in a successful way that I'd be proud of, that I'd be pleased about and would feel good and I can move on with my day. I just had to wait for it to like end and then move on with my day and still carry that feeling of like, yeah, that didn't like how that went, and I didn't act in a way that I was proud of, or like that the way that I would feel confident and good about. All right, so I'll give a couple examples. One of them was kind of just like a mishap or a miscommunication where communication didn't line up for both parties to fully understand. And then and then it just felt awkward to this part of me. And it could like barely take action, or I could barely communicate about it at all. And in fact, communicating felt really hard to like write an email. It just felt so heavy, so hard, and my system was just like, oh, I want to do anything else in the world right now than write this message. Like maybe let me go do like I want to like check for other messages and like do this one later, but like no, do it now. And it's time sensitive, so luckily there's no option, I have to do it now. Okay. So I'll give a couple examples. One of them was a miscommunication, or like just a misstep and a miscommunication that happened, and the ability to communicate about it after the fact of, oh, sorry about that, or we could do something different next time to be more successful, to resolve that going forward. Like communicating at all about it was really hard. And my system was just like, oh, I'd rather do anything in the world right now besides write this email. And it feels so incredibly heavy and hard. Another example was biking. I was on my bike and I was on the sidewalk for a short portion to go between a bike trail and another bike trail. And I was on the wrong side of the road because you're supposed to wheels with the traffic. And so, and there was someone walking ahead of me facing away. And I was just like 15 feet from the next, where the road would open up to the bike path and I could go around them and get back on the bike path. And it's like, well, I'm kind of technically not supposed to be here going this direction. This pedestrian hasn't noticed I'm behind them, and it's a sidewalk, so normally you just bike on the road so you don't have to like ask pedestrians to like scooch over, there's not enough room. And so this part just froze, and it just felt so heavy about the whole situation. It couldn't easily just say, excuse me, sorry, could I squeeze past you? because it was like, no, like I'm in the wrong, I'm not supposed to be here. So I ended up doing nothing and just slowly biking really slowly behind the person, thinking like, this is too long, like this is so awkward. I could just wait until they get past this pedestrian walks into the bike path, and then there'll be room for me to go around. But that's in like another 15 or 20 feet. So if I just slow down and wait, that will be really awkward for both of us. But that's what I ended up doing, because this part just froze and couldn't do anything. And eventually the pedestrian like noticed and scooted over, which still felt awkward. Like I had been slowly following behind this person for a while, and this part of me felt really bad about having been on the wrong side of the road, the whole thing. Okay, so here's what I found out, that this part, so what I would like, what would be healthiest and what I would like is to be able to show up in a new experience of like, oh, this situation's never happened before, but I can show up and do the best I can. I've never done this before, but here we go. I will do it. Which happens all the time, right? It happens all the time. Just a slightly different new situation that you've never been in before. So what I would like is just to show up, do my best, and have it not be a big deal. But for this part, it had the belief that anything that I have not done before is not a part of my identity, is not who I am. So any experiences I have had in the past is who I am and is my identity. And for me, and because I'm in a new situation, it feels like a child part that's like, oh, I've never done that before, I can't do that, like I'm just a kid. So if a new situation happens where it would require a different action, this part would be like, I can't, that's not me, that's not part of my identity. And then it felt like if I did do something, like act in a new way of like, oh, okay, let me take charge of the situation and let me be the, like, I don't know, direct traffic. Like if something weird happened of like a, what do you call that, a land hole? Or like when water just washes away a piece of earth and it just falls. Like if that happened in the middle of an intersection and I saw it happen and other cars coming towards it didn't know it was there and I did know, then like I could step into the road and like motion, like everyone stop, slow down, and then like motion them around it. That would be a new situation that I've never done before, but I could easily just step in and say like, oh, that needs to get done. But this part would say like, no, I've never done that before, therefore it's not part of my identity. Therefore, if I do it, I'll just be pretending. And I don't want to be pretending because that's lying. And then it was really tied into customer service, different customer service experiences I've had in the past where they say the customer's always right. Even if it's not truthful, even if it's, you just say whatever the customer wants to hear you say. And this part was so triggered by that. And that's like giving yourself away, of like just giving people whatever they want from you, even if it's not good, healthy, truthful, right, and it's not in alignment with your integrity. Can you guys hear my chickens? They're squawking about something. So this part took me doing anything new that I haven't done before. It automatically viewed it as I would be lying and I would just be giving people what they wanted. Like people wanted me to act. So in certain situations, it might be socially polite to say a certain phrase, but that part's like, if that's not truthful, like if I'm just gonna be doing it to give them what they want, then that's not truthful and I don't want to do that. And if I do it, it'll be a self-betrayal. So this part was experiencing every new situation as if I act in a new way, of like, oh, I've never been in this situation before, but I've observed other people and how they acted. I could try out what they did in this situation, see how it works. But that part would view anything, any new way of acting as a self-betrayal, that it would be all lying and I would be doing it just to give people what they wanted. And so it refused, and it just, no wonder everything felt so heavy. And in that situation, I would just feel this heaviness and then like this forlornness, and then I'd be in all those emotions and I wouldn't be able to clearly think of a good solution. And anything I thought of doing, like I would think of a solution of like, oh, I could say this or I could take this action. And that part would just make that feel really forlorn as well. Like, well, that would just be a self-betrayal. Like you would just be lying. And then now you'll, be having like then that will feel bad too. Oh, so no wonder indecision was the outcome for basically all the situations I've noticed lately. Okay, so resolution, a new possibility. So after identifying and validating of like, oh, I understand, yeah, I would like to find a new option that's not failing at the situation, failing to take action, or lying and just giving myself away. This part literally thought there were only two options. So I was like, no, there's other options. So after understanding and validating that part, then I was able to see there are other options. One would be to view the whole situation as a learning opportunity, that me trying something new doesn't have to be a self-betrayal. And even if at first I just mimic what I've seen before, of like, wow, I've never done this before, but I'll call on all of my knowledge and my experience. I've seen other people do something similar. I could think of my own ideas of what, if I want to tweak what I've seen the people do, and I'll try what I've seen like that person do, and I'll try it out. And it probably won't be perfect. It's my first time, and that's okay. I can try it out to show up in the situation the best way I can. And it might be clumsy and it might not be the best fit, but I'll just do whatever I can do. And there we go. Instantly, immediately, I will have the victory of now being a person who has been in that situation before. If I haven't been in that situation ever before in my history, I now have. I'm a person who has that added to me. I'm a person who has been in that situation. And I'll have gained a lot of knowledge and experience automatically by having been in the situation. So afterwards I can choose, if I want to, I can choose to think back on what went well about that, what did I like about how that went, and is there anything I would like even more? Would I like to have gone differently? If the same thing happened again, how would I like to do it differently? And then there we go, I'll gain even more knowledge and experience from that thought exercise as well. And so after the situation is done, I will be a person who is now more knowledgeable and skilled and able to take action in that situation. And even if it was clumsy and not very good, I can forgive myself because it was my first time and I was learning. And I can also view the whole situation, instead of life as being mean to me, that this situation happened in my life and I had to have that uncomfortable experience. I can view it as a gift of life is bringing me situations to add more experience and knowledge to myself. And just by it having happened at all, instantly is a gift of me being a person who has more knowledge and experience now. And then plus, if I do these other steps of reflecting on it and choosing to grow it and learn from it and become even more equipped, I'm now a person who's more equipped, who's like extra equipped from that one experience. I'm now have even more knowledge about that I can use to show up in a similar situation in the future. So I can view it as it's an opportunity to grow, and it having happened at all is a gift for me. I can even go so far as to imagine, what if everything that's happening in my life is happening at the exact perfect time? Then there's nothing wrong about this. There's nothing wrong about that this uncomfortable thing happened today, or this new situation is showing up. This might be the perfect time and the perfect thing for me. I want to keep growing and learning forever, and this might be the perfect next lesson that I need. So I can be grateful and happy that this is showing up and that I'm being added to and I'm growing. Okay. All right, and then also I can even add more skills to myself. I can say, okay, I noticed from the experience I didn't have a lot of this skill or that skill of being able to think quickly on my feet, or what are some, I'm just trying to think of different examples, a skill of being able to speak up in a kind way, get someone's attention in a kind way of, hi, excuse me, or hello, or, you know, whatever the idea would be of how to catch a pedestrian's attention while I'm on my bike. So then if I could practice that, I might notice that priming the pump by being around people who do the action that I am new to, being around people, watching people, learning about it, studying about it, or even just making a point of socializing with a wide variety of different people to kind of prime the pump and to practice getting exposed to all types of skills. So I can also add skills to my toolbox. Okay, and then there's one more thing. Oh yeah, and then also, so this part, before processing it, it had the perspective of, oh no, if I run into a situation, a social interaction where I'm not equipped, I don't have experience, I need to do nothing so I don't betray myself, which the other person won't like, and they might get mad and leave me, be dissatisfied that I didn't take a certain action. Or if I take an action that I think that they would like or that might be helpful, that part viewed it as a betrayal of like, I'm just telling the customer whatever they want to hear, you know, back in that customer service job in my teenhood, and it's lying and it's a betrayal of myself instead. And then I would view like, either they're gonna want me to give them whatever they want and then they'll be satisfied, but then I won't be satisfied because I'll feel like I just betrayed myself and that's gonna feel uncomfortable. Or if I do nothing and don't take action, then they're gonna be dissatisfied and be mad. And then either way, oh no, because this situation arose, a new situation, that part would be like, no matter which way I go, this way or this way, it's gonna be awkward, and then we're just gonna need to wait for this to fizzle out. Like someone's gonna leave eventually. There's nothing else that can be done now that this awkward situation has happened. And this part viewed like just hoping that would never happen in life. Like, I just hope that never happens so that everything can keep going smoothly. But if a new, different, awkward situation arises, either I have to give them what they want and I'll feel uncomfortable from that point on, or I do nothing and they feel uncomfortable about my inaction. And either way, like, I guess this relationship's over. Or like, I hope I never see them again or something. This is not how I feel. It's just a small piece of me that I got in contact with. So a new replacement for that is, wow, this situation is a gift. My next lesson in life is showing up for me and I'm gonna be added to. I can just show up the best way I can, and I'm gonna be growing and learning from the situation no matter how it goes. And afterwards I can think through, I can gain more insight afterwards as well, and I'm gonna be getting more and more equipped. If I handle it clumsily, if I try just do the best I can to try something and it doesn't go well, I can always talk to them again after, and I can even like do a do-over or communicate what I didn't communicate well. And I can view the gratitude of, I'm so grateful for the way our paths are crossing. That is adding so much knowledge and experience and growth for me. And no matter what the situation is, I'm being added to and I'm experiencing growth. And then I can also energetically send out the message of, I really appreciate compassion. Like I'm really grateful for you and grateful for how our paths are crossing to facilitate growing and learning for both of us. And I really appreciate compassionate response. And so me holding those perspectives changes the way my body feels, changes the way my part feels, and it automatically gets me more in contact with my heart so that I actually will be able to stay in heart connection with them or have a better chance of that. So, sorry if that was convoluted, kind of all over the place as the part was surfacing as I was getting in contact with it. So now I'm going to do a quick energy session to see if there's anything else that needs help shifting and moving one piece at a time. I'll make sure that the new perspectives have downloaded and that the wound, any trauma energy has cleared, and then I'll practice and be mindful of this new perspective and probably repeat it a few times over the next few days to help it solidify. And then also I notice in the past when I go through a process with a wound or a trauma energy that it often will open my eyes with more knowledge and comprehension to things in the past, and I might even have recent experiences that I want to reach out and communicate in a new way with someone, like just add more communication, because under communication was where this part would end up. Okay, all right, so I love sharing parts because I feel like we're all the same. We all have parts, and parts often tend to have similar patterns or whatnot. So whether someone has the same exact part and belief and situation or not, it can spur awareness within themselves from hearing an example to see their parts more. So happy to share. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. If you're ever interested in support on your healing journey, if you have any parts or trauma energies or anything that you notice inside yourself that you would like to heal and shift, you can reach out to releaseandrisehealing.com, schedule a session. I love doing energy work on that type of thing. I'd be happy to support you in that. All right, have a great day.